welcome to Talks in America. Today we have a guest. He's a musician. We will talk about how music can help to integrate it in America. So thank you for accepting this interview with us. Could you please introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Aaron Michael, and I am the music director here at the Raindrop Center in San Antonio. And we have a community orchestra of about 18 players at all levels, from professional down to beginners, and all ages. I think our youngest member is about 12 or 13, and our oldest is too old to mention.
Oh, wow.
And we have people from all different nationalities.
Great.
Although this is a Turkish community center, I'm not Turkish, and nor am I a Muslim. But we have people from Bangladesh, Persia, Iran. We have Turks, of course, some Turks. We have some Greeks, Jews, some Americans, South Americans, Europeans. And among the religions, we have Christians, Jews, Muslims, Hindus, and everybody. And we play music from all of the cultures around the Middle East. So, and we find it's a wonderful way to bring people together. You know, one of the interesting things about music is that it has absolutely no respect for politicians. It has no respect for borders and boundaries. So melodies and songs migrate all across the borders, even to your worst enemy. They will be singing the same songs you grew up with.
True.
So Turkish people know, for example, one of the popular songs, Katip Uskadar. And most Turks you ask say, oh, that's our song, yes. Well, no one really knows where that melody originated, but we sing it in Arabic, in Greek, in Turkish, in Urdu from India. We sing it in Serbian, in Russian, and in Ladino as well. And nobody really knows where that melody originated.
True.
So
that's great.
It's
so maybe
shared.
say you have a great picture of America in your music class, because America is the people from different places, and we built America together, right?
Yes, it's a melting pot. You know, it's as people are fond of saying, we are a nation of immigrants, and of course the only exception to that are those Native Americans. But they were immigrants 15,000 years ago, and then of course African Americans who did not voluntarily immigrate. But, you know, to a fair extent at least, everybody has become integrated with, and we're still working at it. I mean, it's a work in progress, and we still have difficulties, but it's still a melting pot is not a bad.
Yeah, not a bad. And with several videos we talk about it, melting pot or salad, and we are part of the salad, and it makes delicious that.
Here's a real important aspect
Please.
of it. And when you say salad, that's you know, in some ways that's a much better vision than melting pot, because we don't need to homogenize ourselves. We don't need everybody to be the same. And you know, I come from the Middle East, like many of us here do, and you know, our grandfathers spent their whole careers and lives shooting other grandfathers who spoke different languages or prayed to a different version of God. We know better. We don't need to fight our grandfathers' wars. And here's an interesting thing, right? The xenophobes, the racists, the bigots are really, you know, they don't like these people, they don't like those people, they hate those people. My grandfather hated them, and we're gonna, right? Yet they'll go to a Chinese restaurant, they'll go to a Greek restaurant, they'll go to a Turkish restaurant, and they'll enjoy the fact that it's different, right? Go to a Mexican restaurant, well, that's very spicy. You know, go to a Chinese restaurant, oh, well, you know, it's all that stir-fry stuff, it's really different. Why don't we enjoy the differences in all of our cultures?
Yes, in America.
Just like we do in the restaurants.
That's correct. we can even proud who we are with
Yeah.
our differences here. That's great. So tell me about the music. How we can use music to integrate here?
Well, as I said, the first thing
Mhm.
is, as I mentioned, the music doesn't respect borders, boundaries,
Mhm.
frontiers,
Mhm.
and different versions or the same song gets sung in all different countries.
Mhm.
And it's really wonderful when I'm playing in a venue where we have a mix of people and we sing songs, we play a song, and one of the Greek restaurants I play in, one night I had about 6 Greeks and 7 Turks from different tables who didn't know each other. They got up and started dancing, and they were all mixing together, right? Now, it wasn't very long ago that Greeks and Turks would never do that, right? Jews and Muslims would. All these people who hated each other or whose grandfathers hated each other. Music and food are 2 wonderful ways to bring people together, So here at Raindrop, we do all these dinners. During Ramadan, we do iftars that invite people from different churches, from synagogues. We go out to different organizations and just share the activities, and music is a really important part of it.
True.
So during Ramadan, we play Sufi music, and then we'll play some Christian hymns. We'll play some Jewish hymn songs, and some Hindu stuff, just whatever, bringing people together and saying, one of the director when I first started here, he said, we really follow a Sufi tradition, and we say that God is love, all are welcome, and everyone finds God in his own way. And I said, you realize, I'm a Jew, but I'm also an atheist. So, how do you apply that to me? He says, don't worry, God will find you. And if you like, you can spell God with 2 O's and just think of it as good. So, but what's important is bringing people together.
So tell me, it might be our maybe last question.
Yes.
I'd like to hear from you. Why integration might be something really important? Why bringing people together is really important? Why building a relationship is important?
Because the world is too small. Back in, let's say, prehistoric times, there were not very many people, and life was very primitive, and we had small wandering little groups of people. And maybe at that time when they saw another group that was foreign, they might see them as a threat. Well, if there wasn't much food available, maybe they really were, and if they get the food first, then we starve. So maybe there was at that time a basis for hating or fearing, right? The world is very different now, right? And no matter how you look at it, we live close together. We have people traveling and so forth. And think about this. Areas where people are not fighting, people are happier, people are healthier, people are richer, I mean, most people want a good education for their kids, want shoes for their kids, want to have decent food, a nice house, right? Look at what happens with those of us in the Middle East, where we're so busy killing each other, destroying each other's houses. It's misery for everyone. We know better now.
We know better.
We can forgive our grandfathers, they didn't.
Yeah.
But
Let's open a clean sheet and
we can change. We can grow. So let's grow.
Thank
and let's
you.
just be nice.
Thank you. That was really helpful. Thank you
you.
so much.